Hey, Pastor Jed here. I want to encourage you through some exciting, what I found exciting parts of the Bible today and yesterday. And part of that is because I've been pondering the idea of loving God and loving your neighbor, which is really a summary of the entire Old Testament. Because they had asked Jesus that, they said, and there was a conversation about it, and that was it, to summarize the entire Old Testament rules and laws. All over 630 of them were love God, love your neighbor. And that loving your neighbor part is really kind of, how does that work? And so I've been pondering that, and I know the story about the Good Samaritan. That's one of the ways, and that is when you have opportunity, you help somebody. You know what? There's actually a little bit more that I found as I was looking up some of those original laws. So we're going to turn to Exodus 23 and just go over a few of them. These ones in Exodus 23, 1-9, are some very practical ways about justice and fairness. So let's get into that. The first one says, do not spread false rumors and do not help a guilty man by giving false evidence. Some of that's obvious. We're not going to do that on the witness stand. At the same time, there's a lot of rumors and fake news being spread on the internet. And sometimes the fake news is coming from what we would at one time call trusted sources. But you know what? We need to just be careful about spreading those rumors off the internet. And I know sometimes right now, the line between truth and propaganda, it's blurry. So you know what? Maybe it's better just to say nothing about those things and move on and let your actions show, just like the Samaritan did. Show what you believe and what you're following. Next one says, do not follow the majority when they do wrong or when they give evidence that perverts justice. And there have been times historically and present day democracies that are perverting justice and that get carried away because the majority is pushing them towards one ideology or another. We need to follow Jesus no matter what. And he is the one that has true justice, and he is the one that leads us. And so let's just focus in on that. Follow God, love your neighbor. Pretty simple. Do not show partiality to a poor man at his trial, because that actually messes up with justice too. The poor person doesn't get extra special privileges simply because they're poor. They're treated as a human being. If you happen to see your enemy's cow or donkey running loose, take it back to him. This kind of smacks against finders keepers a little bit, because if you know who owns it, you got to return it, even if it's that person over there. But you don't know what they've done to me. No, I don't, but I know what it's saying here. You do the right thing and return what belongs to them. And then it goes further. It says, even if his donkey has fallen under its load, help him get the donkey to its feet again. Don't just walk off. If you have a chance to help that person, even if it's your enemy, you take it. We are to be helpful and doing the right thing, even for other people's animals. And so take that into account. We need to be even merciful and compassionate towards God's little creatures that are, especially the ones that are under service for us. So if you see someone and their dog is in trouble, because that's the more common animal that we use now for those kind of things, help them out. Do not deny justice to a poor man when he appears in court. See, God still cares about the poor. He does not want it where the poor person is denied simply because they don't have the money for proper representation. So God still takes care of the poor. They just don't get special privileges just by being poor. So for those of you that take pride in your poverty, and there are some that do, it doesn't make you any better than the rich people. Doesn't make you any worse either. Do not make false accusations. Do not put an innocent person to death, for I will condemn anyone who does such an evil thing. That's what happened to Jesus, and it happened as a result of pride, arrogance, jealousy, envy, and things like that. if deep down that's what's motivating you to put others down because of pride or envy or because they threaten your position, be very careful. Okay? You don't want to be you don't want to, first of all, condemn someone falsely to death. And that could mean you're to destroy their reputation even. Because God holds you guilty for that. Okay? And we don't want to go there. Do not accept a bribe, for a bribe makes people blind to what is right and ruins the cause of those who are innocent. So don't try to manipulate the situation based upon the things or money that you have. This actually can happen in churches too, where the person who gives the biggest tithe then uses that as influence to become one of the board members or one of the church leaders. You know what? It's great to be the person that gives the biggest tithe, but that doesn't mean that you have more influence simply because you're giving more. Okay, that could become manipulation, and that could technically become a bribe. Same as, we're going to give this to the church, but you have to do this for us. No, that can really mess with justice within the church. Do not ill-treat a foreigner. You know how it feels to be a foreigner because you were foreigners in Egypt. So God's reminding people, you know what? We need to treat refugees well because you were once refugees. We need to treat people that, you know what? I know what it's like. I grew up as a kid in a household. Before we had Jesus in our household, we were very mistrusting of anybody that was moving new into this country, especially if they didn't look like us, think like us, or smell like us. Where does that come from? Pride, arrogance. We need to treat others, refugees, people that are outside, as well as people we've grown up alongside. They all are deserving of love as our neighbors because God loved us. So let's take that under initiative. So here's 9 different ways we can practically put into purpose and practically do this. Some by not doing things, some by guarding ourselves, some by helping. I hope you've been encouraged. Don't be a cause of a problem. Help be a solution. Have a great week. God bless.